Afike goal ngiphethe ushintshi nope angazi ngihlale goal. Hello and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I'm Pilo, I'm your host. If you're joining us for the first time, this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs Football Club. So do make sure to leave a comment letting me know what you think of the things that I'll be talking about. I'd also like to welcome the returning subscribers. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate you a lot. And today's special shout out goes to Henry Smelane no Telang Tibinyane. Shout out to you guys. I give shout outs to people. Engage with me down on the comment section. We are talking about the big one. We are talking about Royal AM versus Kaizer Chiefs. Boo, boo, boo! First game of this, first game for us in this upcoming season. And a lot has been said, a lot is expected. Well, some of us are just expecting progress. But let's talk about the game and look at what will happen, how Royal AM will set up. But before we even go to the tactical side of this whole thing, we need to understand ukuthi a coach can be so good, but if the emotional part of the players is not aligned with the tactics, then akwenzeki lutho. And I think ngikhuluma ngama emotions because of the beef that has been going on behind the scenes between Royal AM and the Chiefs, and I think that's gonna play a huge factor in how this fixture ends up being going forward. Because if you think about it, the beef that we have with Royal AM is going to push the management vele nabo ukuthi we can't lose to Chiefs, and then izoya kubo coach about 3 laba bethi hey madoda, we have to win this game. Besides ukuthi it's the first game of the season, the management just wants you to win this game because it happens. And I think this beef isiqalile izoqhubeka futhi, and it should make an interesting match because everyone will be fighting and trying to make sure ukuthi besides the 3 point, we're also fighting for his tune said, not to mention ukuthi Royal AM yashango 4-1 last season, yashango 1-0. We'll look at those things as we continue with the video. Now, one of the first things that I want to talk about is Royal AM has 3 coaches. So they appointed Ukabo Zondo, and Kaizer was not around at the time, but then Ukabo Zondo was appointed to be coach of Royal AM. And then the next thing, Edo Danmalisela no Amazlo Muyang Abram Teo, yes. And then it was added. So now we have a triple threat. But even though kuna Leon Toleo, I think Istyle Sabo Vele, I see Dan Malisela being the one who's more dominant. In a way, you could see Ipolalak, I think Kilabanga Tenebel adopt more than the style of play of the other coaches. Not to say by useless, but it's to say I think he's the one who is likely to be making more decisions. Although ungazi ukuthi lento coach isebenza kanjani. System, how will they play? I see Royal AM coming to us with the 3-4-3 ngiqala ngabo because I want to talk about with how we will be overcoming that and attacking them as well. And with the 3-4-3 formation that they are playing, one of the advantages of this formation playing against Chiefs ukuthi bona, if Guguti they are sitting back, which I doubt will be happening, they have an advantage yokuthi if bethatha the double tens, because good 3-4-3 kuzoba nama inverted wingers. If they choose ukuthi kube njalo, bazo invert ama wingers abo angene ngaphakathi, and in that way they essentially have 4 people in the middle, and it's not going to be easy to go through them in the middle. If we push the ball wide, remember there are 4 in the middle, so then it's going to be difficult as well to play the ball in wide spaces. And if we try to go centrally, they just invert their wingers and then go by E4. If we're playing whatever formation we're playing, let's say 4-3-3, Sebias outnumber Resha, but I will talk about how Chiefs will or might probably set up tomorrow. And another thing that is going, that I'm expecting to see, it's Dan Malisela. So we're gonna see Royal AM getting Ebola and being more dominant. Well, I doubt but they will be more dominant than Chiefs, but we did play Gallants and they dominated us because they are good on the ball. Dan Malisela. However, I think another thing, because Mkhulume Aksu, however, scratch that. In addition to how Royal AM might be attacking us, it's also ukuthi if we're playing from the back, Tina, these 3 strikers or 3 forwards that they will be deploying might press us. It also gives them advantage yokuthi bas press as well mabidlala le 3-4-3 yabo up high, and if kuguthi we get a way of playing the ball over them, they still have 3 defenders at the back. So the formation could be used very well if coach Onjengodan Malisela decides to use it, because Galants he wasn't necessarily using a 3-4-3, kwakube 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, and sometimes 4-4-2 edlala ne Chiefs nje wadlala 4-4-2. So sobona ukuthi how they played, and vele ngangifuna ukulokhu ngikhuluma ngeRoyal AM kakhulu. I was just pointing out the things and the ways that they can use, because if you're thinking about them, one of the things that we'll need to do is to make sure we don't concede silly crosses, because they have strikers who can cause aerial threats. And one of the goals that we committed against Royal M, but it's gone, but they still have tall strikers. And if Ebola, we don't stop crosses wide, because they'll use the width and then try to get the balls into the box. If we don't stop the supply, then so we're sinking in. So that means it will need our wingers, if we're playing 4-3-3, which I think we might be playing tomorrow. If we're playing 4-3-3, then our wingers will have to do a lot of work coming back and tracking back Nama wing backs, because if Guguti, their midfielders or right wing backs and left wing backs are getting space to cross the ball, then what's going to end up happening is that our fullbacks as well will now try to close down their wing backs, and once that happens, ama defenders defensive line is broken, and one of the wingers can now move to the wide space and then move wide, because lesser spaces versus vacate to ama left back to or right back it. So I think this will be very important for ama wingers to then track back and mark, because if benga track back kuzoba inkinga. And this is why kwi-lineup issue, I don't think uDupree will start as a number 9 because of this reason, because Ukama tracking back up and down and tracking ama wing backs, I think that's just not his game. But uDupree is still fresh, he's still younger, and he can do that the whole day. And but because Ukama, his defensive side of play, it's okay, but consider his age as well, and you don't want him to just burn out on the first game and then Masakfiki game him respect. So Royal M. You get what I'm saying? If you're enjoying this video, make sure to smash that like button. Now, how is Chiefs going to line up? I think 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. And by the way, one of the things that is happening in lineup here to Guti, Umabilis is not available, and this would have been a good chance for him to start the season. Ushlant, as we know, Guti Zwane doesn't think he's ready, and then because of the injury, and then you have Unange, who got a red card last season, and apparently that continues to the new season. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Anyway, Epalin, who do I think Chiefs should start? Right, goalkeeper Kune. Personally, distribution, Mauguti, we catch them on the counter, because they will be on the ball like Mabene Bola, they will be able to keep the ball, knowing how Umudan plays, coaches his teams. And the next thing is that right back, right now, I see Zwane sticking with Uplom. This is why I think he will stick with Uplom, because Ufrosla will be playing on the left. I think he will be playing on the left because of the fact that Umabiliso, obviously, Ulimele, and then Ushlant is also injured. So we have those issues. So then Ufrosla angaqhubeka futhi aqale kwi left back uDova bakamsayini. So Frosler to start at left back, right back Blom starts, and then la kuma central defenders, I think the obvious one ukuthi uKwinika will start, and then the question will be then between Ungezana no Ngcobo who starts. And for me personally, I think Ungezana should start, because we need that vocal person, that active person, and he's also just as one boy, and as a defender, from what I've seen defensively and just being aware and organizing a defense, I see Ungezana being a better person to start that game. Right, so we move to midfield. If we're playing a double pivot, then kuzobe sekuba uCole. You know why I'm saying uCole? I'm saying uCole might play if kuguthi kune double pivot, because kunalento yokuthi Royal M will be on the ball. When they get the ball, they will keep it, and you need someone who's over defensive minded as well, to break down those attacks and to make sure Uguti they don't dominate the ball. So his side to Cole, he is strong defensively, because if you saw too much udlala as a 6, then the problem that you're having is that these people who are so dominant with the ball are now going to just be more dominant basically team, because there's no one who is physical and just getting the ball from them. Umat is good defensively, but Cole is even better when it comes to those defensive side. Although what I've seen is that Cole, the problem which is losing some pace, and he ends up committing too many fouls because bayamdlula abantu, and then he has to compensate ngokuthi abadlale kabi. And the second person that he will play with, I think it's going to be Matt makukuthi badlala double pivot. If kukuthi uMathi akadlali net double pivot with Cole, he might play in front of him kwi-8. So I think kuzoba double pivot in this case, and then kuzoba ne-build up. When you're building up from the back, Umat can be that person also dropper, because mabe pressa kukuthi ba pressa with this 3-4-3 system yabo be pressa nge-3, then Umat will be the one to drop into defense and collect the ball as well, and help increase our numbers at the back. Ukuthi maybe the two center backs bangene 18 to start the game with ukeeper, and then mabe siqala ngepress sekunomat at the good D-line vele to collect the ball and start progressing the ball forward. And then number 10, I would love for Mshini to start the game, but I think Uzwane has had enough time to play with the new guys as well, and I think Ustebe will start as a number 10, because also another thing that happens ukuthi makukuthi uKholu uyakhathala or whatever bamkhipha, Ustebe can still drop into the defensive position, not defensive but to being the second 6, because mazidlala ibhola from the back, then Ustebe uyadropha, then uKholu uyadrop, then uMathi uyadropha. So you know ukuthi it helps to have options abantu abazokwazi ukuqala ibhola bal progress from the back, although we've seen ukuthi Steve is more effective when he's on the final third, but I can see him starting as well as number 10. And then on the left wing, I see Dupree for his explosive speed, ukuthi makukuyi counter, he's occupying the wide spaces, and then my qhamukes attack ibhola is coming from wide, and usually that causes panic. And then Upiliat to play number 9. False 9 really, because here's the reason why I think Upiliat will be placed as a false 9, because as I said ukuthi mabedlala i3-4-3 le team le i-Royal AM, what will happen ukuthi if they want to have numerical advantages soon, what they will do, they will just invert their wingers and then make it a 4 against 3 thina mazidlala 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, and then to make sure ukuthi we overcome that strategy sabo, then we must have Upiliat dropping to the midfield, making sure ukuthi it's 4 against 4. Because another thing that I heard Zwane saying ukuthi said we will try to match them, we'll make sure ukuthi we match them, asibayeki babe dominant over us, and because of that I see Upiliat playing a false 9 and also dropping to midfield because he's good at doing that. And obviously the right winger, our right winger, it's obvious ukuthi Kiken will start the game. I think that would be interesting to see, and given ukuthi Uzwane has kind of gotten the team that he wants. By the way, angibuyele endabeni kaKholu. uCole if engadlali, uMathi can play 6, because indaba yokudlala double 6 also was done because ubengekho umuntu one balance at defensive part and the attacking part. So you might end up just seeing uMathi playing 6 eyedwa, and then phambi kwakhe kudlala uSithebe nomshini mhlambe or no Hadebe. And in that way, we're still having 3 in midfield, and then Upiliat, if it drops to midfield, then it's 4 against 4. So that would be interesting to see, guys. Let me know what you think down on the comment section below. Please vote for some game. I will pin the link on the comment section. It's free if you're Facebook. Thank you. Let me know. Give me your score prediction. I see Chiefs winning this game by 2-1. Let me know your score predictions, and let me know who you think Zwane will start tomorrow. I will see you after the game, and until next time, remember, Khosi, I'll pay you more.